Hey guys, it's V. Rigoni, and now I'm going to be answering some questions.
All right, so the first question is, what advice would you give to somebody who wants to invest in real estate but they work a regular job?
Well, when you're going to invest in real estate, and by the way, that's a great question, because when you're going to invest in real estate, you're going to have a regular job. Yeah, there's this thing where you can go and you can get the owner financing and blah, 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 but they still want to know you have an income so you can pay the mortgage, right? Because with investing, you got an obligation of paying a loan. Remember, the terms of the loan and all the obligations are spelled out on that loan document and also on that mortgage document. What should you be doing? Well, you got to first put together the down payment, right? The 3.5%. Chances are, if you're looking at a single family home, you're going to be going with, a 3.5% down payment. All right, now that just depends on where you're living. Obviously, if you're in San Diego, good luck with that. That's some big bucks, even at 3.5%. But if you're in Middle West or in the West, it could be $7,000, right? It could be as low as $3,500. So you got to put that together. But the other thing is, to the specific understanding of if you got a job, is let's kick that performance up. Let's go to a max performance on your job. Is your job based upon is it a salary type job where you've got to then really build up that performance, talk with that employer? What are you going to do in order to make some extra money there? Can you work overtime? What do you have to do to generate more money? More money, baby. Now, if it's a sales job, well, that's on you, right? In most cases. And if you don't have the sales job, then what I would say is, then, hey, you got to do a side hustle. You got to get something else going on. But make sure it has a positive impact to your bottom line and not a negative, right? And I don't care if you're working an extra 20 hours a week to make $500, whatever the number is, it doesn't really matter. You just need to put more money together, create more income. And if you can do that extra income on the books, that's another great thought here. If you can do that income on the books, then that will count towards your qualification for a mortgage. Everybody likes to make cash and nobody likes to pay taxes, but worry about paying the taxes when you get the big money. You need the money on the books now so you can qualify for the mortgages with these lenders. I think that's probably a pretty good answer on how to get that started, right? Make sure you got the income as much as you can, and let's put together some down payment money.
All right, cool. So to stay on topic of loans, once that person qualifies for a loan, what should they look for in that real estate property in order for it to be profitable?
Yeah. Well, we always say that you make your money when you buy the property, right? You make your money. It means, are you just going out there and, you're going to go look at 5 properties and the real estate agent's going to say, well, you looked at 5 properties. Which one you want now? Because that's how they want to work. They don't want to show you 20. They don't want to show you 50. But you're not out there just being a consumer. See, a consumer comes in, they look at 5, 6 properties. Yeah, I like this one. What do you think? They say to the wife, the husband, whatever, the significant other, whatever it is. And they say, yeah, I like that. It's got this, it's got that. Hell, you can watch TV shows. They talk about it. They see it all the time. Look at 3 properties and choose one. No. You're looking for a couple of things. First, are you getting it at the right price or the right terms, right? Right price or right terms. You may be willing to pay more money for a property if you're getting really great terms. What do I mean by that? Well, that's where that owner financing comes in. Maybe the guy has it paid off. He's willing to sell it to you on what they call a land contract or a purchase money mortgage. Well, that's when the terms come in. All right. Remember, in most cases, except for owner financing, the seller's going to walk away with cash. So this idea of, is it a cash offer? Yes. When there's no contingencies, the cash offer always looks better. But you're not going to be in that position if you're you're just getting started. You're going to have to get a mortgage. It's going to have to be contingent, your purchase, on getting that mortgage. So you're going to first look for the right property. Now, the right property, again, we default. Where do we default to when it comes to real estate? Location, 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 right? And then there's another old adage, buy the buy the worst house on the best block. But just be a little bit careful that you got to know, is it falling down? Is it freaking falling down? If it's freaking falling down, well, there's always something that can stick a fork in any adage. So you got to understand, you want to buy a house that you can do some things to it to improve the value, to improve the rent from it. Those are the things you link. But location is super important because that's what helps the appreciation. Because after you've done the things to the house to make it nicer, now what are you doing? Now you're just relying on appreciation. And nice houses in good locations, they go up a lot faster than super nice houses in lousy locations. So then, remember, let's kind of recap that. You want to make sure that you're buying it right, buying the best location. You're buying a house that you can do some things to it, but it's not going to be a disaster. You don't want a money pit. You don't want a situation where the building's falling down, where the foundation's falling apart, where the roof line is bowing in. This stuff you can just look from the sidewalk and see most of it. I think that kind of like pulls that together. Go ahead.
Cool. So in your real estate walkthrough videos, you tend to show people like the ugly sides of it, the behind the scenes, the things that people won't necessarily show because they want to show investing in real estate. It's all glamorous and stuff like that. What are some like ugly things, like some common like difficulties that people are gonna have to like deal with basically being a real estate investor?
Sure. Well, that breaks down into a couple. Again, that's a really great question, but it breaks down into a couple different, aspects of real estate. If we're talking about the remodeling of property, about forcing the appreciation. You remember, what do we mean by forcing the appreciation? Well, normal appreciation is just because, prices go up over time, right? That's a function of whatever the inflation rate is or the pressures on the community. But then there's things that you do to the property. So let's just say that you buy this property and now you've got to go and, you got to deal with the plumbing. You got to redo a bathroom. You got to redo, a kitchen. Now, some of the things you might be able to do yourself, or like I say in the beginning, you may have to have some buddies help you. People will always help you on your first house. That's a gimme, man. And if you don't use, help, and I don't mean use in the way of a negative use, but if you don't, let people help you, because on the first house, everybody wants to help you. Okay, by the third house, nobody wants to show up anymore. That's just the way life works, right? Just go to fix your car 3 times. See who shows up for the third time you're going to want to fix your car. But if you're going to do it that way, which I highly recommend, make sure that when you've got people working for you and they're helping you in the beginning, that it's not costing you more money because they're going to come with their ideas. Oh, yeah, don't do this. Let's rip that out. Yeah, you can rip everything out, but you better have all the money necessary to put it all back together again. So you can sink a good investment with some really bad ideas. So to go back, basically, what are some of those pitfalls, right? That's basically what is that when you're doing your first house, yes, you want the help of your father and of your father-in-law or your friends or your brother-in-law. But you have to put together a plan first on what you're going to do. And unless somebody can really show you the difference, then, just tell them, they're like, thank you so much, but I got to do it this way. Let me give you an example. My son had bought this beautiful house in this tremendous location on a 1 acre. It's a house. It was a house, big farmhouse. It had a coach house. It's in one of the best communities in the Midwest, top notch, right? Where there's all $1 million plus homes. Well, it was like literally falling down from the inside, from the middle down, because it's an old farmhouse. They call it balloon framing. So I'm walking up the stairs and I hit the top of the stairs. They had just put new hardwood floors in it. Now, he wasn't buying this house as a rental. This was a family house. Well, the gap from the width of a door, 36 inches or 30 inches, there was about a 4-inch run between one side of the floor, the gap underneath the door that you could see as you're like walking up the stairs and you get to the top of the floor with your eyes. You look to your left, you see a gap about 3 to 4 inches, and on the other side it's about a 1/2 inch. I mean, it was unbelievable. And I'm like, John, you just can't do this. You just can't put this lipstick on the pig. Well, he heeded the advice. He literally had to pull up the hardwood floor. And it cost probably, $150,000 to redo what he had to do. But now he's got $1 million house. That is fantastic. There are moments, because it had to do with structure. When things have to do with structure, you have to do them right. But on your rental property, you shouldn't even be dealing with structure problems. This was a compound house with a coach house on 1.5 acres in the midst of $3 million homes. This was a diamond in the rough. And yes, it had some structural problems, so he dealt with them. Well, I don't want you going down the road of structural problems on your first rental property or on any property, typically, unless there's other reasons like he had. So my point is, when you're having these people come over and they're going to help you work on your property, take their help, not their advice, unless this is what they do for a living, unless they own a dozen rental properties. Then shut the fuck up and listen to them. So we're going to be doing this from time to time. We're going to be taking those questions. So leave comments, leave the questions, and we'll be answering the questions. And we're going to be doing it in this format because I think that it's a more casual format. It allows us to, be able to think a little bit more and give you a complete answer on a specific question. So leave those comments, and we're very happy to in this kind of a format, not just do a whole program. Sometimes a comment will require a whole program to have explained. But a lot of times it's these little things that create the problem. What do I do here? What do I do there? It's like on that one video where I showed you where we put in all new brand new cabinets and the drawers hitting the trim. They want to seal the drawer. They want to put up all kinds of freaking tile. And I'm like, let's just trim back the edge of the drawer, like about 1/4 inch. And then it cleared the trim. All done. Easy. Easy peasy, baby. Sometimes you're looking for the easy answer, but it's also got to be the correct answer. Talk to you soon. Let's leave the comments. Let's get out there. Let's make it happen.